Hello, everybody. Um, Before we get into this, sorry, my name is Nyaradzo Mchena. I'm moderating this session. I'm curious who we have here. I'm seeing you guys students, some of you. Hands up for students. Hands up for not students. Right? What do you guys do? Oh, you brought them. Okay. Both of you. Okay. Great. Wonderful to have you. Out there. Ah, welcome, ma'am. Okay, I'm on the edge of feedback. And all right, so like I said, my name is Nyaradzo Mchena. I'm a filmmaker. My day job is creating branded content. So I haven't been in the entertainment side of things for a while. I've DP'd a couple of features. I've written and directed shorts. I've written features, but haven't got to make them yet. What do my panelists do? Please introduce yourselves, just what you do and your names, please. Ladies first.
My name is Marian Kunonga, film actress, film producer, and editor-director. I'm a filmmaker.
I'm Beauty Nakaitsuru. I'm a filmmaker. I pretty much do an all-rounder. Script writing, directing, producing, and I edit as well.
Hello, my name is Donald Yatsambo. I'm brand man, and I'm a filmmaker as well.
A brand man.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I'm into branding. Yeah, we have a small branding company called Canterbury. Yes.
Great. Right. So, this is the question we have. It looks like a very straightforward question, doesn't it? I'm sure it's of interest to you as students, lecturers, and filmmakers. Whether there's actually work after graduation and whether there's going to be more work going forward. To begin with, can we have a yes-no answer from all of you guys? Then we'll get into your explanations as to why yes or why no. We'll start with Brandman.
To the question.
Yes, to the question, do we have enough skill to carry on?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with the one who said no. Why are you saying we don't have enough skill to carry an industry?
Okay. I'm saying no because I've been practicing since 2010. So for me, it's from experience. I'm saying no from experience. For the past 12 years, I've been producing year in, year out. And I've gotten to a point when, with our industry, it has sort of like high tides, where we sort of like catch what do you call it when you're in a seashore? A wave. We catch a wave. So we get a year or two where things are looking a bit brighter. There's funding, somebody is putting in money for film and whatnot. The moment we get 3 or 4 producers producing at the same time, we don't get people. You actually struggle to get a set designer. That's a skill, which is very limited to me, personally, from experience. You don't get a DOP. You hardly find a DOP around because everyone is shooting. And you think, who is everyone? This is the little industry we have. So for me, this is why I'm saying no. I feel like we have very limited skilled people for the industry.
I would say we have enough skills. I would say yes. I've been in the industry since 1996. And some of the people that I met back then in 1996 are still around. They are here in Zimbabwe. They are practicing. And what makes some of us, I'll just get to what you were saying, that sometimes you don't find skilled people to do it. The skilled people that are actually skilled in filming in Zimbabwe sometimes don't waste their time if they see that this production is not meeting the standards that they've been used to. There were standards that were introduced to us back then when we started films. It's those set standards that are still being used internationally right now. So there's some shortcuts that we try to do when we're doing productions at the moment, which makes it difficult for people like me who started way back then to do even right now. There are instances where I've been called to productions, come and work at the productions, but then you see the production process, that this is going to take a lot of time, this is going to take a lot of effort, but the quality is not going to come out as it is perceived. So some of us, we look at film production in this kind of format. I look at film production not in producing it in mass. We're all different. Some are okay doing mass productions. I personally, I don't like to do mass productions. I'd rather do one film in 10 years that is alive for the next 50 or 100 years, or that my great-grandchildren can actually benefit from. I did Flame in 1996. I know back then I was still young. I'm still benefiting from Flame right now. I'm still flying out of the country from Flame because of Flame right now. And that's the films that I want to make. So we are all different. Some of us are okay shooting all these things. So I would actually just go back to say the skilled people are there, but it's the kind of work that they're being presented to that they actually hold back and not do it. Some of them have actually changed from doing the film. They're actually doing other things other than film. Some are into other different kinds of business because they are seeing that the resources that are needed for them to produce the quality of films that they're actually looking for are not available. So they've changed their kind of profession. I've gone into teaching, like mostly full-time, because I don't want to make a film which does not meet the standards that I perceive to.
Okay, so Marian, you said yes. You said yes, there is enough skill to carry an industry. Yeah. Then you said the skill is not available for what the industry is doing.
I'm saying the skills are there. If the industry, so what's hampering our industry to do right now? I think we can look at our economic situation right now. I'm telling you, if there's a big production company that comes here with a proper budget and everything in place, you are going to see the skilled people just coming out. And why I'm also saying that, yes, these are students who are doing it. I think in training institutions across the country, there are people who are learning skills. What's happening is that sometimes we are trying to learn filmmaking in its totality. So the skills that I'm talking about is that if you actually like trying to partition, maybe put tikada kupatsanura mabasa anoitwa mafilms, you are going to find out kuti tikada kutedzera those kuti vanhu vesound, how many skilled sound people are there at the moment. Then we look at those who are interested in sound in the schools right now. Maybe in the next 5 years, we have got enough skilled people to do this, because all these people who are going into film schools, they're coming into this industry. That's why I keep wanting to say the positive thing, that we have skilled people. We just have to polish them. And then we say, if you're going to do sound, you focus on that and you harness your skills.
Okay, you just brought something else up. We have skilled people, but they are not yet skilled enough. Okay, hold that thought. Donald.
Okay, I said yes. The main reason which I believe that we have adequate skills is, I think Marian correctly put it across. Each and every year, I mean, I think there are quite a number of universities that are churning out skill. And, okay, let me start from the top. I think we have to define what we are talking about when we're talking of film industry and the type of skills that we need to be identifying. Okay, fine. If we're saying Kutzo, we are talking of skills. Maybe if it is film, maybe a lot of us are thinking of just the cameraman pointing, then the sound, and but I think it goes way beyond just the actual shooting and the editing and the sound, because we also are supposed to consider the selling of the film. That incorporates it all into an industry, because if we have a product, we have to sell it. So do we have people who can sell? That's also a skill. I think that's a job for marketers, for salespeople, and all other brand people. You understand? So I believe, honestly, the skills we do have. But what is it that is lacking in our industry? I believe it is the funding. I was going through some time ago. I was going through how much a series costs to produce in America. The standard films like Suits, um, it's NC something something, Los Angeles, LAPD, NCIS, yes, yes, yes. They cost about 2 million, just one episode. And it comes out the way that all of us can actually sit down and maybe kana tika pirate, tika downloader, tika iona, you spend the whole night. And by the time you get to 2 a.m., and you're just like, I would want to see the next season. Why? Because there is enough money that is going around and everybody can commit their time. What is it that is lacking time in our society? Our state of economy. All these guys, they are all filmmakers. If we put even $1 million to produce a movie locally, and everybody gets to be paid properly, everybody will be on board. We can have 100 productions, and you actually wonder, where are all these people coming from? Look at the quality of music videos that are being produced right now. Look at even the movies that we are watching. The quality is proper. It's good. Even the storylines, they are good. But what is it that is lacking, that is making somebody like Marion go to teach full time? Is the quid, is the dollar power. Our state of economy at the moment is not allowing all of us to be fully committed towards production of a film. I think for now, I think I have to stop there.
Okay, thank you. Marion, I know I asked you to hold that thought on the quality of skills. Is that right? Well, that's the next step, really. Is if we're saying we have enough people, but they aren't ready. I for a long time said Zimbabwean filmmakers are like injured athletes in that they've come back to play, but they don't have match fitness. Can you compare a sound guy who's been working on one production a month versus one who works once every 6 months in terms of his delivery, his capacity?
It depends. There might be one who's actually just doing sound every month, but it's just the sound which is not properly done, and one who's doing once every 6 months and it's proper sound. So it all depends.
My question remains, can we count these people as skills available to the industry if they are farming, doing law, or teaching, whatever they're doing to survive? And then we say just add money and they will wake up and on day one be up to speed.
I don't think you can add them to the economy, but maybe we still go back to the question on skills. And I can elaborate on what he said also. If we're talking about skills to run an industry in Zimbabwe, we have enough.
Okay, I'm going to take this somewhere a little different right now. As far as I'm concerned, this is a mathematical question. It shouldn't have opinions. We either have enough skill or we do not, right? So, in determining whether the skill is enough, let's look at what the industry actually needs. And what is the industry? All right. Rice, do you mind? Just the first one. This isn't very. I don't imagine you can see this from very far. But what it is it's production scale, it looks at the size of productions from level 1, who is a solo filmmaker, and what you will find on the credits for that production is a single filmmaker undertaking all tasks on a production. Level 2 is a multitasking team. That is a small crew sharing responsibilities beyond specialized job descriptions. Level 3 are specialists. That is a crew of specialists, each focused on their own specific area of responsibility. Are we together? Level 4 is departmental. That is a single production team working in fully staffed departments with head of department supported by specialized assistants. And level 5 are teams of fully staffed departments separated by distance, e.g. in different countries, but though they're working on the same production or series of productions. From what's being said here so far, we seem to have enough skill for level 1 or 2 that is active. There's another dormant capacity of skill which we think will be activated by a paycheck. For what level are we looking at there? 4, 5? You're saying if Hollywood comes and they throw money, guys will come from their bedrooms. Where are we? Where are you? Okay, let me ask you guys working here. Where are you working on this scale? Yeah, your bread and butter, your general productions. What are they?
I think it will be on 2. Number 2.
That's you?
Yeah, it's a small screen. Yeah, that's number 2.
And Nakai, you're doing all the TV in the country right now. Between you and Shem, is there anybody else doing TV? I know. I'm sorry. No shade thrown on anybody.
Yeah, I think we're on level 2. A crew specialized on what? Focused on their own specific. No, we're on level 3.
You are.
Yeah,
you do yours on level 3.
Yeah.
Right, Donald.
2. Level 2.
Level 2. Okay, so when we talk about an industry, carrying an industry, what kind of an industry do we want? We want an industry dominated by, characterized by which level? And then we can talk about whether we have enough skills operating at that level.
Who are you asking?
You guys.
Ah, okay. Well, to be quite frank, everyone would want to be on level 5. We all want to be there. But like they rightly said, and everyone knows, our economic situation, our challenges, our wanting to farm before filming and all that, we are back to level 2, most of us, right? Level 2, level 3 at the most. And where we are at level 2 and 3, the same problem is skills are not enough. If you ask me personally, because I'm saying ever since I've been practicing,
I think you need
I
to
haven't.
Get closer.
Okay. Now can you hear me? Yes. Ever since I've been practicing in this country, what I have not been getting are skilled people. I have to teach half the time on sets. And when you hire experienced people or skilled people, they'll also have to be teaching for you to remain with other people to work with for your next production. That's how it has been. It's sad, but true. For me, personally, that's what I would say. Everyone who's worked with me over the years, they know that skills are very limited. And most of the people are just learning on the job. People who are coming from school, college, use it wherever you guys are coming from, you are not skilled. When you come with your certificate, whether you've had it sitting with you for the past 4 years, the first time you enter a set, a production, you're just not skilled. You're somebody with a paper. That's what it is. You are learning from day one, being on set. We've had a lot of interns. We've had students who've graduated from colleges here in this country, who've come to sets over the years. For me personally, I have names that are already out there who've come from universities. I've worked with them. They had no skill. They actually learned the skills on the job, which is the right way to learn half the time anyway when you've got theory, because theory just tells you what you're supposed to do, but you have to practice it for it to be a skill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. Marian, you said you're teaching full-time, yeah? let them know what you say.
What teaching full time is like, I think it's now in what I'm saying, teaching full time. Like right now, these students come and teach me. Sometimes it's one-on-one, and sometimes it's going to give a lecture and all that. So yes, I'm teaching full time. Let me say that.
Yeah, how many years have you been teaching?
I started. I think my first workshop that I did was when I came from film school, which was in 2003. I don't know. That's 2003 thereabout.
Okay.
That was under UNESCO when we did a music video workshop, and then also realizing that the skills that I went and I accumulated there in SA were not enough. So we just like set experience mostly. That's the one that was lacking. Set etiquette, how to conduct yourself on set. That was the one that was mostly lacking, because you'd meet someone who understands the whole deck of sound, but when you put them on set, you can't work with them because they don't understand the etiquette of set. So yeah.
Okay. Donald, is this common with you as well? Are you finding your crews need training on set as part of the process?
Yeah, I think, yeah, basically.
Okay. I would suggest that universities, you start training filmmakers in teaching, because clearly a part of filmmaking in Zimbabwe is training. So on set, we need to be empowered with teaching skills, and perhaps we need more lecturers on set before they go back out there. I'm just gonna ask for one more diagram before opening it up to questions. Thank you. So this is a pyramid. Everybody knows how these work. You have a broad mass with numbers at the bottom, and fewer and fewer as you go up. Now, as we rise, we can be, in this particular scenario, we're talking about numbers of productions, and on the x-axis, whatever, the rising axis, the axis, we're looking at the size of budgets. So ideally, when we say we have a thriving industry of level 4 or level 5, right? Even in Hollywood, they only release one Marvel movie a year, and they might have a whole bunch of other movies at a lower budget level, then another bunch of others at a lower budget level. If we look at this festival, so far, from my reading of the credits, the largest list of names for a Zimbabwean film was last night on China. Anybody watch that? Sat through the credits. I tried to count while they were going up. I estimated at least 60 credit headings, not credits, because the actors could have been 60 by themselves with extras and all that. But just looking at this festival, there was one film in the level 4 category, right? Actually, it was level 5 because it was shot in Zimbabwe and South Africa, right? So there was one film in the level 5 category, and then maybe we're looking forward to Mirage tomorrow. The first night there was a documentary that was shot in different continents, but the number of people on those credits was a lot lower. And then you'll find short films. There's group 1 of shorts, there's group 2 of shorts, there's group 4. So you get how that works. Even in Nigeria, we talk about the quality of Nigerian films a lot. There's what they call Asoba. It's actually the name of a neighborhood, I think, in Lagos. They are the ones who fill out the bottom there, who've given us what we define as Nigerian movies. But they do have much better quality movies that a lot of us don't get to see unless you go out looking for them. But they're fewer in number. So, to conclude this part of the discussion, I guess what I'm just really wanting to get across is this idea that when we're talking about carrying an industry, we aren't necessarily talking about what is dominant at the bottom, But what we want to see at the top, if the highest Zimbabwean film and the highest Zimbabwean TV series is still at level 3, and we're talking about carrying an industry, then that's the industry we're carrying. So if we have enough skills to carry this industry at present and our greatest work is level 3, then our work is on getting our greatest works to level 4. Okay? I think that's a form of summary of what we've been saying. Yeah. We can go for questions now. Yes, sir.
Hello. Thank you. So, for those that don't know me, my name is Innocent Mwapangira. I'm a lecturer at Lupani State University. So, generally, the first thing that I would want to say is that I'm one person who has been beaten up, mocked at, and whatever for just saying Zimbabwe doesn't have professional filmmakers. First and foremost, and that's what I hold. In as much as I am a professional in courts, right? And I've also said it in theater because I started in theater and then I went to film. And the only reason why I went to film was because filmmakers were saying, what have you done so that you can criticize us? And up until now, I haven't even done anything for TV or whatever. I've done shorts because generally I've found it very difficult to work with people, right? Like literally, you go to someone and say, okay, dude, I can do this. I understand this, and then they'll tell you, you don't have the skills per se. But when you look at their work, you'll be like, no, if you do this, it will come out. And then they take what you have told them, and they put it, and they apply it, and then you wonder, okay, what's happening? So initially, this is the thing that I would say about Zimbabwean industry. First and foremost, it's not that we don't have the skills, right? It's that we don't have the proper places of training that allow for the enhancement of the skills, right? And this also takes into place the collaboration that people need, because film, you can never do it alone, right? And I'm someone who have worked literally in the first tier. All my short films, I've literally written, directed, produced, okay, not acted, edited, and stuff like that. And these are short films that are very, very bad, for your own information. When I started, they were bad. Now they're okay. I haven't even submitted one to a film festival before because I'm still learning, right? And the reason why I've stopped producing in the last couple of years was because when I got caught up for teaching at firstly UZ and then Lupani State, I now didn't represent myself, but I represent an institution. So whatever work I do, it has to have standards, right? But now again, back to the institutions where the training is supposed to be. We do teach them and we do train them skills. But now the problem comes back to the idea of funding. And not necessarily, I won't say funding, comes back to the idea of resources, right? And with these resources, most of them are lacking. Because for instance, let's say we want to okay, I'm going to give an item. I've got a TV drama course that I do where I teach writing, right? Most of the time I want them, they actually produce a pitch document that has got all the series, whatever, and then they do an episode series. But I haven't had producers. When I say producers, please come for a pitching session where my students can come and pitch to you in front, and you can buy whatever you want, or you can take whatever you want and push it. You know, they'll just say, okay, we'll see. And after sometimes I think I've sent several pitches of these dramas that most of the students have produced to other in-houses or other communities that I found, and still they're frowned upon at times. So we come back to the idea of, you know, where is the place for the training that can happen, right? And it's not literally, as long as we're an industry where we don't see each other for who we are not going to be professional.
Okay. Sorry, can I come in there?
Yes.
You've raised a couple of things. Marion, was that you itching to respond?
I will agree with you on the professionalism side. Yes, we lack a lot of people who are professional. They can be skilled, but they are not professional. Being professional when you're a filmmaker starts from very, very simple things. Keeping time. There are people who you call at 10 o'clock, they arrive at 10 o'clock, you are late. If you're a filmmaker, when you're called for a meeting at 10 o'clock, you arrive at 9:30 or 9:45. That's being professional. So some of those things, these are like very, very, very small things that people do here. So I agree with you on that. And then concerning training institutions here in Zimbabwe, I was stand down at UZ. They wanted a film scholar there. I was stand down. I was coming to give a lecture at Ghana University. I'd done a lecture at Africa University. I went to do a lecture at Unza University. I'd done a workshop at MultiChoice. I'd done a workshop in Nigeria. I came to Zimbabwe University. I was told you don't have maths, so you can't teach film at the University of Zimbabwe. So even now, when I meet UZ students, when they want me to lecture on them, I tell them I don't have maths, so I can't teach you film. So with the institutions that we have that actually teach films here in Zimbabwe, there is too much academic. Film is a creative industry. Not everyone who studied film knows maths. I would honestly say it, what I believe is if you're a filmmaker, you need to be true to yourself, because filmmaking is telling stories that are not real. When you're talking about dramas and everything, we lie too much. So we have to be true to ourselves. I have forces on all level. I could not go to university in Zimbabwe, but when I went to South Africa with the skills that I already had on set, I hold a bachelor's degree in film. I'm actually going to do my master's. I'm going to do my doctorate on motion picture medium in South Africa because they accepted the skills that I have. So that's the biggest problem I've got with universities here in Zimbabwe. We've got a lot of my doctorates. We have they still look at us creatives as we are not taken seriously. It's like we are not serious because I not pass your O levels. You didn't go to A level. You are not serious about you. So that's one thing. The skills, some of the skills. Let me finish. Some of the skills that I think some of us, or I think a number of what would call professionals in the film industry right now. I did not just start by going to school. I was on set first. People were being trained on set, hands-on. There was a rule within our government where production companies that were coming from outside would come with I think it was 30% of their crew. The rest of their crew, they were forced to find here in Zimbabwe. So they would just come with the head of department. And then just the head of department and all the assistants you were supposed to find here in Zimbabwe. So that's how some of these people, some didn't even go to film school. They don't hold any qualifications in film training, but they are professionals in the industry. So that's how most of them were trained. So that's where, right at the moment, we don't have a lot of productions that are happening. So the students are just learning theory at the universities. They come out, there's no a proper professional film set where they can actually learn what really happens with the theory they have learned in their training institutions.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say, you see the attitude that you're saying we academic have is the same attitude we feel like. Do you get the point? And it's something that, yeah, I'm a creative, exactly. I know Miriam. You know me. I know. But then the thing is this. The thing is this. We need those ties, right? Like, Baron, if you know me too well, I think you know me. We've struggled to come into the industry to say, please give us a chance.
All right. Yes, okay, please do.
Sorry, can I just jump in on that one? Yeah. Me, I don't understand this bracket. Maybe I live in a different world or different Zimbabwe. Since 2010, I've had students from UZ, MSU, Nyari Nongonema, came through me. What's the name at National Arts Council? Privilege Runzonza. Right now I've got Fadzi, I've got third year students, and Amanda. I've been working in Amanda Mutede for the past last month. And I'm wondering, which students are you talking about? They don't come to us. I've worked with students, and most of them females, on top of it, who are actually skilled right now.
This is the thing. There are certain people who push, right? And It's a given. I said,
Can I let's just pivot.
Okay.
We're going to pivot from here. Okay. Thank you very much for your contributions. I think we began with a very broad definition of industry and skills. Right. I've really tried to narrow it down. I think now perhaps we need to redefine training institutions. One of your first questions was proper institutions for training. And clearly, an academic institution is one form of training, right? Classroom, I think it's useful. Personally, I've always felt you need, I call them the 5 E's, the education, the dogma, pedagogy, right? So education, experience, expert evaluation, epiphany, things have to awaken, and for some reason I'm forgetting the 5th E. It will come back. But there is another training institution which is the film set, and this is the one where you're having trouble accessing. Right now, if we go back to our levels, if the majority of our filmmaking is taking place in solo and small multitasking crews, the accommodation that can be made for fresh hands is limited. So as an industry, more training opportunities will be created clearly if we graduate to larger crews with departments within which people can learn and make mistakes without costing the whole production its existence. Donald, do you have something to add there?
Okay. I think something that we are not really elaborating on is, I think you raised the question, you raised the issue before. I think all of us, we have got a cloud hanging over our heads, I guess, in the definition of the industry that we're talking about, right? What is the film industry? What are the constituents of a film industry? Okay, what is an industry in the first place? Isn't it we are supposed to be producing a product, right? And making money out of that product, right? So is it just limited to the creative aspect? Or it also incorporates the commerce? Right. So if it incorporates the commerce, are we just talking about the industry, iri creative? Or we are also talking about the skill set and actually to come in on the commerce part? Right. How do we make more money from the industry? If we just concentrate on the aspect here, the creative side, we also need the people who've got the skills to make the money and create the money, isn't it? Supposing tagadzira chingwa, there's a very, very skilled baker, and film is the product, chingwa is the product, right? But munhu yagadzira chingwa chinonaka stereki, but then all of us, we don't know where to get this bread. Isn't that that moment whereby we need that other extra skill? Yeah, munhu anogona kutengesa apa nechingwa chinonaka chikazenge. We need that. That's also part of the industry, isn't it?
That's why we're saying we don't have enough.
Are we saying we don't have people who can sell?
We don't, because if we did, there have been films that have been made since 20, I don't know. How come they're not being sold?
I think, okay. I think it's a little bit of challenge is one, our economy, and two, it's about investment in the film. Because all of us, we are agreeing on the fact here, I would rather go on there and because I was going to badar. Because in Dijimuka Maxieniga, my little 3-year-old boy, I did mazipi. I have to start thinking, okay, fine. Panduku invested a lot of time in creating this film. How about Nigambe and Tengesa Bero? Kutizondidi? Then this becomes a secondary a second, in fact, a part-time kugadzira film. In what I really believe is, it's a question of financing, investment, and injection capital into film. I think that's where we have a challenge, not the skills part.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think the people who can best answer this question are the audience, the viewers, because we don't create content for ourselves, but we create content for it to be consumed by people, and numbers don't lie. We are living in an era whereby we have critical audiences. They are agentive, they are very active, they know what is good and what is not good. So what are these people saying? Because it seems we have a tendency of creating content for ourselves. And how many people, how many audiences are here, you'll be surprised. Film launches, 0 audiences, but we are creating these things consistently without engaging the people, the most important people in any given production, the consumers. What are they saying? I think they're the best people who can answer this question.
Sorry,
Really?
this question of skills or...
Even of skill, because a good product...
Sorry, which question were you answering?
Of skill.
Of skill.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution.
Because if you're a good writer,
I think
if it's a good script, if it's a good story, and the audiences will like it.
Yeah, but do you know
If
that...
they don't like it, because what are people saying about these things?
Yeah, but do you know, when it comes to skills, I beg to differ. Because audiences, they like something that just makes them feel good or funny or whatever. Crappy stuff we've seen people liking.
Do you know that the audiences are able to differentiate between skits and films?
Yeah, they can.
And they know kuti when they're watching on their phones, about it's just for entertainment,
Yep.
go here 2 minutes. But when they cinema, they know what to expect.
Okay,
Yes.
can I interrupt this? We have another hand, and I get your point that the audience is
Because
impression-
it's not like
audience is reception.
ndinogona.
However,
Let people judge.
However, the
And it's my
question, the
number.
question
I think
stated.
we're talking different things
Yeah.
here now. When it comes to skill, what we're looking at an industry, and you were saying, do we have enough skills for the industry? But if you ask an audience half the time they don't watch a film to be to criticize. They watch to be entertained. So whether the dialogue is interesting for them or the characters are interesting, the skill part of it doesn't apply. I've seen bad films being liked by people.
How do you
I've liked
define
Nigerian films,
How do
which
you
were
define
very badly
skill?
shot.
What's the definition of skill?
Skill is something that you do well.
The ability to do something well.
Very well.
So
When
if
we
you're
say
able
well,
to do something well, the audience will just consume it because you're creating
But-
so that people can consume.
yes,
Okay,
but
can
can
we-
you
can we-
actually hire somebody who doesn't do something well and you tell them that they're skilled? Because something is entertaining.
I'm going to wrap this particular two-way up and keep it a broader discussion with the rest of the audience. Really, we clearly on the panel have been addressing this from the perspective of the industry, not the audience. We didn't think the audience has the capacity to determine whether the industry is sufficient. Your hand is up.
Yeah, I've got a question, and I'm sorry to take you back a bit, but I think we need to define what we are calling our film industry. How is it structured? And I think if we define it, if we define how that is structured, it can help us approach it, let's say by department, like what you were saying. If we are saying there is commerce, let's talk about the necessary skills in commerce. If we are talking about marketing, distribution, all those things.
Thank you very much. That's a great question. Can I do a survey on the students? How many of you are aspiring to be talent of any sort? Actors or TV presenters or anything? We've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Cinematographers, gaffers, Anybody in the camera department? Okay. Sound. Uh-huh. Art. Okay. Let's talk post production, right? Anybody interested in animation? Visual effects? Your hand was up before. You're a jack of all trades. Level 1 in the making. Okay. Right. So I was actually asked for a TV channel just literally when ZIFFT began, one of the days. They asked me how many producers we have. I had to consult with Nakai Matema at the back there. She's been working on something, and she had a count of around 150 producers in the country. Clearly, from just the skew of this class, we have more skills in some departments than others. So our deficit isn't even. We may actually have a surplus, would you say, in some of these things? Is that the problem?
The problem that happens is that some, I wouldn't say the problem, but when I was lecturing at ZIFFT, you'd find students, he comes to you. I'll give you an example. A person like Boskeda, Butis Kushangaira. Butis wanted to be in front of the camera too much, yet he wanted to do cinematography at the same time. So you had to find, what is this student best in? And so you start pushing them towards that. Some of them did not even know that they are good at this. Some came with like their own skill. They are skilled already. They are students that you mean like these ages. I don't think these children just left home and just came straight to the university. I'm sure there's some things that they were doing when they were at primary school, at secondary school. So I think with training institutions, it's also good that they identify the natural talents that the student has got. Because some of them are good with gadgets. You can look at a student, something breaks down, they are there, they are technical already. It's in them. And they are right there. And they'll be telling you that I just want to act. So sometimes with training institutions, it's actually just first year, they are really confused. The second year, you start someone pushing towards, what they like best. You've got an example of like, Lucky Aaron was one of my students. Lucky Aaron wants to be technical and everything, but Lucky is a kick-ass, no-nonsense, money-seeking producer. If Lucky is to do producing, executive producer. If Lucky is to concentrate on looking for money and resources to make film, he will excel. Because he's got strength in that. Lucky doesn't care. He goes in there, he searches and he finds. So if I think in our training institution, if we can master that also, that we actually push the students to somewhere, to a skill set that's germane to their own natural talent, it will help the industry in more ways than one.
You talked about 150 producers that you and Nakai came up with. And then that got me thinking, skill is something that is, number one, transferable, and then number two, it can be measured and graded. So if we would want to grade, let's say have A to D, A being the best and then D being, the last. How many of those 150 are we going to have in the A grade? How many of those 150 are we going to have in the B grade? And that said, if we have 10 in the A grade and then 10 in the B grade, is it enough to sustain what we would want to call a film industry? That's my contribution.
I think that's a very good question. That's a very, very good question that we need to answer if we want to talk of enough skill in this industry. How many producers out of the 150 that are on the database today are in the A or B grade. Just A and B before we start pointing at C and D. Because who is pointing them anyway? What criteria are we using to grade that?
All right. There's one more question there.
Hello, my name is Tapiwa. I am not into filming, but I'm enjoying the discussions going on. I'm more of a musician myself, and I'm sure some of the topics you're discussing are also relatable in that industry. But my question is just on funding, because many people have brought up the issue of funding. My question would be, if we were to give a situation of things do not change in this nation, God forbid, but say it remains economically the way it is, are we then going to use that as, because economy, funding, industry has stayed the same? Because I'm a believer that, for example, I want to be a billionaire someday. I cannot look at this one factor of the things that are going on around me and then say, I didn't make it because of this and that. And of course, I know there are a lot of other factors, but I think that would be my question, Kuti. This funding issue, isn't there a way around it? Because economy, yes, it's something that's not within our control. And
Can I?
yeah,
Can I answer
so
that?
that's basically my question.
Okay.
All right. I think what we are looking at is I'll still go back to the aspect here. Yeah, holistically, what we've been discussing has been about departments like the art, the GAFA, and stuff like that. But look, if we are talking about a producer, executive producer like Marion was referring to, don't you think we need to equip or work with people who have some commerce background? Doesn't it become very special for someone who can communicate the business way, the business language, when you're talking to people who are supposed to be investing? I don't want to say funding, investing in the particular project. Don't you think, we have a lecturer here, sir? Don't you think that your curriculum has to incorporate the commerce aspect of film? Because look at it. Tinokwanisa kuramba tichema tichiti no funding chakati, but we are not incorporating the commercial people as that a critical aspect of the industry. Yes, they are there, but we are not just selling the idea to them very, very well, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So can I come in now? Mm-hmm. Okay. For me, I think this goes now to the fact to the point that lecturer mentioned of actually engaging the audience. Who are we making this content for? Because those are the people with the money, believe it or not. This whole investment we are crying, we've already made films. Where are they? Who are we giving them to? The people that we are actually neglecting when it comes to that are the audience, because those are our consumers, and those are the people who are actually free to part with the money for you to make your next film. Funding. If we say we don't have funding and yet we've got films lying about and people making films to date, where are they going? How are they making them? So it's not about funding. It's about distribution. Where are they going?
So
that's the end game, distribution.
Right. So in summary, we need to work on the entire film industry value chain. And it seems that is a bigger skills gap than the craft competencies that we tend to focus on as filmmakers. We have a question over here.
Not really a question, but just a comment from the gentleman's question. I'm in the animation industry myself. I've been there for 10 years. And one thing I've noticed is it's never about a question of money, because where good ideas are, money will always follow. So it's a question of idea generation. And yes, we can theorize all we want about learning commercialization in schools. That's great. But one thing I've also learned is it's all about who you know and who you can connect that person who's learned that theory to the money opportunities. And that's where the gap that exists is currently, I feel, in the industry, whereby the person who connects the good ideas to the money, where is that person and how can we connect everybody else who's got all these ideas too? So I'm just talking from my experience because I've once teamed up with an organization called 212, and basically she has an agency. She was one of the storyboarders for The Lion King, and she created an agency whereby she connects animators to opportunities. And what she does is you can actually just email her. Her name is Jamie, and she'll evaluate your script or your story, and she'll go through it, and then she'll find the opportunities for you in Hollywood and in Paris. So it's more about that connection and that link and who you know. So we can theorize all we want all day, but it's practicality. How do we connect the ideas to the people with the money?
So, what's
And
your name,
thank
sir?
you.
I want to connect with you also.
It's Rodney
Rodney, who?
Masanga.
Nice to
Okay,
meet you.
you can connect immediately. We have to wrap up. Thank you to the panel. Thank you everybody, students, filmmakers, guests, and those watching online. I think if we're to summarize the content of our discussion, I would begin by saying we do have enough skill for the industry that we currently have. We do not have enough skill to carry an industry that we are aspiring to. And in terms of bridging the gap between those two positions, we have to find new ways of training and of training people who are already active, as well as the next generations of filmmakers. In addition to that, we've said we need to look at how we need to make sure we don't just focus on production skills, but really the entire value chain. We are suffering from our lack of distribution. We're suffering from our lack of sales and fundraising skills. And then Marian needs to connect with Rodney. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.